my awareness. You are deeply loved and cherished forever. You will be taken care of. You have nothing to fear. There is nothing you can do wrong. And of course, when she said that, I knew already by that point that I was deeply into this kind of soul school and awareness, and that really this is all about learning the lessons. And important to realize that in our incarnations here in the physical realm, once we realize that the highest and best form of our ascendance towards oneness with the divine is manifesting that unconditional love for all fellow beings and showing love, compassion, acceptance, forgiveness, and mercy to all life and all of this creation, that we can do no wrong once we're at that point. But of course, that is part of the higher lesson we're here to learn, and that so much of this soul growth has to do with leaving behind those false boundaries of self and the ego, and where it puts us in this world and separates us from realizing the oneness that we all share. Truly here to share that love. It turns out that that beautiful summer breeze was the first hint, because that was my awareness of the divine. That, when I look back on it, I call that breeze the divine wind, or the breath of God, because that was my first knowing of the infinite healing power of that unconditional love blowing through that scene. The memories don't get stored in the brain. The real cloud is the fundamental realm of our spiritual consciousness, really the thing that exists. I mean, the material realm is the stage on which the drama unfolds, but it's very much a facade. I mean, the materialist scientists are the first to tell you there's no material to the material world. You know, as you get into string theory, quantum gravity, what have you, the discussions are all around vibrating strings of energy in higher dimensional space-time, but they're not about, you know, the solidity and the mass and the inertia of things here. Those are all concepts that get kind of laid in by our consciousness on this side of the veil. The kind of illusory nature of it is right there if you look, and that's where the materialist scientists are so amazed by it all, and yet we all need to be more amazed by that. And of course, the next step for the physical scientists is to realize the role of consciousness, that it's not created by the brain at all, and that's where it starts to get much more interesting. You know, every moment, every breath is an absolute astonishing miracle beyond description. And yet if our brain were sitting there and our mind were completely blown away by the miracle of every moment that is truly there, we would quickly become prey to whatever predator was around looking for lunch, and that would be the end of story. So that's not the kind of qualities that has survived through Darwinian evolution. Civilized human beings, we don't have to use all of our waking moments just to play the predator-prey game. And that's why it's so important to realize that, yes, our mind and consciousness can actually do far more than just get caught up in that game. But the ego and those boundaries of self are part of that predator-prey game. So a huge part of this is rising above those false boundaries of separation. And just be open-minded about what can be real. And remember that we are extremely blinded to the nature of reality. Our eyes and ears themselves are very, very limited within a narrow bandwidth of frequency possibilities, whether you're talking about the ear and sound, we're talking about the eyes and electromagnetic spectrum. And of course, we have no way of knowing what other windows we would need to access all of reality. Mistakes that the materialists make is thinking, well, if we just access all of reality available through our physical senses and through our instrumental expansion, say of telescopes and microscopes, expanding on the eyes, things like that, then we will get to all of reality. That is a very brazen, heuristic assumption, the way the universe works. But within consciousness, you can come to access far more. And that's why it's so important to go within. all of our human experience. This is soul school. We're all here to learn and to teach.
This world is an illusion, but it is an illusion we must take seriously because it is real as far as it goes. We must find a way of being in this world while not being in it.
So often I'm going out there and saying that this material realm is illusory. It does not mean it's unimportant. In fact, I would say the entire universe exists to support sentient beings being temporarily incarnated in these forms where we know full well that we'll be partially dumbed down to the level we have to be to exist in these incarnations. But that's because that's how we learn the lessons. That's how we all learn and teach these lessons. The most fundamental lesson mankind is working on now is that lesson of unconditional love for our fellow beings. There are certain aspects coming, from my point of view, of the destiny of humanity, certain capabilities that are latent within all of us as sentient beings, but we cannot be allowed to fully manifest those capabilities until we more thoroughly love one another, love ourselves, love all other beings, show compassion, mercy, acceptance, forgiveness across the board, because some of these abilities that I see coming to us as sentient beings can only come when we have mastered that ability to love ourselves and love others. And that's what so much of this is all about.